All right, then. So again, welcome back everyone to our How to Live Your Life on Purpose conference. We're having an awesome time in our group talking about how to understand your and your child's motivational gift. And I would like to go ahead and just hand it back over to our dynamic speaker, my mom, Jack Jones. Share with us a little bit about your background as well as dive right into today's training. But welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I am so sorry about the delay, but I'm going to make things about me very brief. Of course, you know my name is Jack Jones. You know why. My mom wanted a boy. She had a girl instead. She named me after her uncle, and there goes the name of Jack. I am a former financial planner, was in the business for 22 years, own my own business now that is called Lighthouse Gospel House, and it is a Christian-based business product, and we do church supplies. But anyway, enough about me. Let's dive right into.
You know what? I must say this though, Jack. I don't want you to rush. There's a lot of static right now, so just speak right into the mic. Look right into the camera. Try not to move that much because your background is important to us. So if you can share with us a little bit about your background again, you don't have to rush. We recorded this, so no one saw the first recording. So feel free to share with us a little bit about your background.
All right. Okay, is the static still there?
And just keep going at it. I'll let you know if it goes away. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, my name is Jack Taylor Jones. I was named after my mother's uncle, who she told that her next child would be named after him. And since I was a girl and he said his name was Jack and not Jacqueline, which is what she wanted to name me when I was a girl, she named me Jack to go along with him. Also, I'm originally from the South, so I'm a good old Southern girl from Louisiana. I moved here 30 years ago. I attend Word of Faith. I am a licensed and ordained minister, and also I have been doing financial planning for 22 years, and now I've done the motivational gifts and teaching on other subjects for the last about 15 years. And so that's enough about me. Let's get into keys to understanding your child's motivational gift. I've taught the keys to understanding your personal motivational gift, but we're going to go because a lot of people want to know, well, you know, I have a child or I know some younger people. And understanding a motivational gift is so important to understanding your purpose, because until you know who you are and why you do the things you do, you don't know what purpose or directions you should go in. So we want you to take a look at the young people in your life, not just your children, but even your children's children. Some of you may have grandchildren, as I do. Some of you may have nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbors that you have a connection with. And what we want to do is help them to grow in their purpose in life. So let's go to the slideshow. So let's see how we do this. Okay. When we look at understanding your child's purpose, early in life, children begin to display who they are, what their personalities are in God. And of course, I had to put up that scripture, before you were born, I set you apart. God said that he knows who you are. He has already determined and placed in you who you are, what your purpose is. And that's what you want to discover with your children. Now, we all come into the world with certain God-given abilities that God has put into us and placed in us. And how we express those abilities are also based on our motivational gifts, because we look at things differently. We may look at one thing, we're looking at the same thing, and we may not see it the same way. Most people do not see things the same way. So it's based on your motivational gift. I'll give you a background. When my husband and I, we had been married for about 10 years before we were introduced to motivational gifts. And he could not understand why I did not see things the way he saw things I couldn't understand why he did not see things the way I saw things. And it was because we were wired differently. And each and every one of us are wired differently. Our motivational gifts are given by God, and I'll go more into detail as to what they are. But it's important as parents, it's important as teachers, as mentors, as role models, that we help the children in our life, the young people in our life, to recognize their gifts and their talents and their natural abilities that God has given to them and placed on the inside of them, and how to use those abilities to fulfill the plans and the purposes that God has for their lives. Now, let's see.
And you can just arrow to the next one, or you can click your mouse to go to the next slide, just so you know.
That's what I was doing, and it wasn't going.
Okay, it's okay.
Every child, I'm trying to see, okay. Every child is an individual with distinct personalities and an exclusive blend of gifts and talents. Those blends of gifts and talent make them uniquely special to God, because God has placed in them, innate in them, those initial gifts and talents. And as they unfold, then their purposes are going to unfold, their experiences are going to unfold, and it's clear that God has created them with a purpose. And so, Jeremiah 29, for I know the plans that I've had for you, said the Lord, plans to prosper you and give you an expected end. And that's what we want our children and ourselves too. We want us to have that expected end. Okay, I'll get it, Kim.
Okay, because you shouldn't have to show that on the side. Just arrow or just click your mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, and as you may know that I'm new to this, so pray for me as I do this. Thank you, Kim. Now, what is a purpose? I am an avid studier of Miles Monroe, so I like this real simple definition that he gives: the origin intent of a thing. That's what our purpose in life. What did God intend us to do? What is the origin that God has placed in our lives? I'll give you a perfect example. I'm sitting on this chair. The intent for this chair is for me to sit on it. But if I moved it over and put it by my sofa, then I can use it as a tray, or I can use it to block something. But the original intent of a thing or of that thing is to be a chair. God has given us original intents for us to operate in. And the reason, and here's the noun, the reason for which something is done or created, the reason for which something exists. Why do we exist in this world? Here are the synonyms, and I like those: motivate, motivational, or motivation. The grounds, what are the grounds? What's the cause for us to be here? What's the reason for us to be here? So those are some of the things that we want to discover in discovering our motivational gifts. Now, since children are in the process of growing and developing, it is more challenging to pinpoint them versus pinpointing us, because we, as they say, we get set in our ways. So the way we do things are the way we do things. We've developed and we've grown, and our motivational gift has blossomed in us. But as far as younger people, their motivational gifts are taking time. And it's a process that we have to look at when we're looking at our children's motivational gift. I remember I have a young daughter. She's an adult, but I remember when we were watching her grow, as we watched her, we started noticing her motivational gifts. We noticed what she liked to do, what motivated her to do things, and that's what you want to do. So where do you start with watching your motivational gifts? Let's start off by saying what they are. These are the 7 motivational gifts that's found in Romans 12, 6 through 8. We have the perceiver, the server, the teacher, the encourager, the giver, the administrator, and the compassionate gift. Now, I'll probably be going back and forth with the perceiver in the Bible. It says the prophecy, although that does not mean a person that can prophesy over your life. It means that that person has a vision for things, that they see things black and white. The administrator, they called, for you, Kim, administrators are called, are also called rulers, because they like to take charge of things, and they will rule over you if you let them. So there are different ways and different verbiage that they have for these motivational gifts, but I'll go more into detail about the motivational gifts. Determining the motivational gifts. Let's talk about that. Since children are in the developmental process, their behaviors change significantly from year to year. And you know that sometimes when they become a teenager, you're like, who is this person that's living in my house? Because it's not the person or the same person that lived there when they were a little girl. And then when they become an adult, then you're like, oh no, this is not the teenager. So it's a process. Like I said, we as adults, senior adults in our 30s and 40s and 50s and older, then we are set in our ways. So what happens is that we watch our children grow. But the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. And when they're older, they will not depart from it. So that's what we want to do, is we want to help our children and ourselves to identify the way we should go. So we start with some basic questions to identify characteristics in children and their motivational gifts. These are some things that you should look at when you're looking at a younger person. Is that person very talkative? Are they comfortable speaking in front of people, or are they shy and quiet? I remember my daughter, when she was growing up, she very, very, very talkative. As a young girl, before she even got into grade school, she was talking, and she could memorize so much. And they would have a program at the end of their little kindergarten graduation. She knew everybody's part. And the thing is, she always wanted attention. We didn't recognize that we recognized it in her, but we didn't know that that was part of her motivational gift. So as she grew up, we started analyzing and recognizing that was part of who she was. Now, is your child a take charge type of person? Are they strong-willed? Or are they helpful and obedient? Those are some traits that you look at in your child. My daughter was very strong-willed, and I can only speak about my daughter because I've watched her grow for so long. She was very strong-willed. She wasn't obedient a lot of times too. But those were characteristics of her gift. What words most characterized your child? Are they independent? Are they decisive? Are they fearless, which is characterized my daughter? Or are they nurturing, empathetic, and fun, which may characterize some people some children that you may know? Now, let's get into the motivational gifts. These are and I did not go into detail with these because I was talking about younger people, but these are the different motivational gifts and some of the characteristics that they might have. The serving type of gifts, and they are servers, givers, and the mercy or compassion gift, as some are called. They're shy and they're quiet. They're helpful and obedient. And then the speaking types of gifts, which would be the perceiver, the teacher, the exhorter or encourager, and the ruler or administrator. Those are talkative, comfortable speaking in front of people. They're take charge and strong-willed sorts of people. Now, let me break it down a little bit more as far as motivational gifts. Not only are there serving types of gifts, but they're all, and speaking types of gifts, they're also called people and non-people type of gifts. The people type of gifts are the server, the giver, the compassionate person, and the encourager or the exhorter is another type of what they call encouragers. The non-people type of gifts are your perceiver, your teacher, or they call it the ruler or administrator. These people, they don't, the non-people people, they are the people that can be at home with a good book. They can be at home watching TV. They don't need a whole lot of people around them in order for them to be able to operate. The people that are the people type of people, which my husband is one, he is an exhorter. He needs people around them all the time. They need people to validate them. They need people to encourage them, or they need people to encourage. So those are the different types of motivational gifts. The perceiver, teachers, encouragers, and rulers, and sometimes givers are independent, decisive, and fearless. The encouragers, servers, givers, and or compassionate gifts, which they also call mercy, are nurturing, empathetic, and fun. Those are the people that a lot of people like to be around. The motivational gifts, as far as the giver is concerned, the giver is very generous. They're very thoughtful. They're very frugal, and they're industrious. The givers are people that they look at ways in which
excuse me 1 second. Excuse me 1 second, Jack. There's some static coming in. I just want to make sure that we're able to hear. If you could step back a little bit from the mic and try not to move your head, that may help with it, or just may just be technology and airplanes flying over. I don't know. But if you can, I just want to make sure if you can stay still and not be so close to the mic, that might help. But feel free to go over that slide that we're on right now. I appreciate it.
Okay. As I said, the giver is generous, thoughtful, frugal, and industrious. Those would be the young people that love to see other people. What you may be hearing, Kim, is my dog is here, and he's whining. But we're going to ignore him for right now. The givers would be the people that look for ways in which to give others. They're thoughtful to the needs of others. These are the people that might be your philanthropists. These are the people that also know how to manage money. They are, like they said, frugal. Those people, they will, as my mother used to tell me, and they could squeeze the dollar until it hollers. So those are the people that love to save. Those are the people that are industrious. Those are the people that could be your next entrepreneurs. Now, the next gift, the encouragers. These are your social butterflies. These are the people that are talkative. These are people, they're optimistic, always have a positive outlook on things, have a very large circle of friends. They're fun to be with. They're master communicators. Now, my husband, who is an encourager, also when we're talking about the adults, we call them exhorters. These people love to lift other people up. They love to have a lot of people around them. These people will take charge because if no one else will do it, they will do it. And not only that, because they are such talkative people. Like my husband, he calls himself a connector because he always are connecting people, because he's always talking to people, finding out about people, encouraging other people to be their very best. And therefore, he takes and he goes and finds other people that can help that person to be their very best. So these encouragers or exhorters are people. Now,
Okay.
the next
Right.
one is, yes,
Come
ma'am.
closer. Come closer. Thank you. We're
Okay,
gonna do
how's
this,
that?
y'all. All right, go ahead. Try again, please. Thank you.
So is that better? Okay, let me see if the next motivational gift is the mercy or compassionate people. These are the people that bring home stray dogs or stray cats, stray people. Because they have such compassion for everyone. They have such compassion for animals. They have such compassion for people. They're tender-hearted. Yes, ma'am.
Don't move as much. Try not to move your head and just talk.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to get this.
You're
Okay.
doing fine. No, excuse me, you're doing fine. This is great content. I just want to make sure that people are able to hear what you're saying. So forgive me for interrupting. I know I try not to do it, but I know that if you don't move your head and you just try to speak straight and you're kind of close to the mic, it works better that way. So, but you're doing great, mine. And forgive me for jumping in. I really don't want to, but I want to make sure that we're able to hear.
Okay, that's quite all right. Teach me. I'm very teachable.
And you sound perfect right now. Right now, you sound perfect.
Oh, okay. Now, getting back to the mercy or compassion, they're very tender-hearted people. Now, I'll give you just because. Let me say this. You might be thinking, oh well, I have a lot of those traits or characteristics within me. But what happened is when you start thinking about your motivational gift or your child's motivational gift, the motivational gift that they have that's most telling is the one that's mostly the ones that they are. I have learned behavior. That's what we're calling. I have learned how to be compassionate because one of the young ladies that work with me is a compassionate motivational gift person. And I have watched her, like I said, Kim, being very teachable. I've watched her and I've watched her be compassionate. And I can be compassionate, but that's not me. I can only do it for a little while. And then I get back to who I am. And the same thing about the encourager or the exhorter. I am with my husband a lot, so I have learned that. And so I can do that, and I think I can do it well because we've been married for 30 plus years. So I have learned over the years how to be compassionate and how to be encouraging. But again, that's not my motivational gift. So I can do it, but I cannot do it the way my husband is an encourager or the way the lady that works with me is compassionate. So I just wanted to say that, and I'll give you some tips and keys on how to identify those gifts in your child or in your children or the younger people that you might be with. But I just wanted to point that out, that just because you're saying, oh, I may know somebody like that, does not mean, I see that in all of them, does not mean that a person isn't every gift. God gives gifts, but that's not one of the gifts. He doesn't give all gifts to all people. He is the only one that is all things, all omnipotent and omnipresent. We don't have all of those gifts. Now, for the server is obedient. They tend to be quiet and shy. They're very helpful, and they have high energy and cooperative and supportive. I'm thinking about the reason why I'm smiling is because during the Thanksgiving holidays, we were with a lot of young people. And because I've been doing this for a while, I'm always looking at them and looking at their motivational gifts and seeing if I can identify them. And these were not teenagers, these were young adults. And there was this one young lady that was with us, and her grandfather was there, and he was trying to get his meal. And she told him, "Oh, Granddad, sit down. I'll bring your food to you. Let me get it for you. And Granddad, what else would you need?" And so everything, now he had more than one grandchild there, but everything was Granddad, Granddad, Granddad. She was that server motivational gift. And he would say, "Honey, would you get me this?" And she was quick and obedient to do it. But he had other grandchildren there, but she was that servant motivational gift. So that can give you a little insight as to how they operate in their gifts. Another thing was this young lady also was compassionate, because her servant motivational gift was high, but she was also compassionate. The next one is the ruler or administrator. A ruler likes to be in charge. They are administrator. They can juggle 2, 3, 4, 5 things at one time and do them all well. They are high energy, high activity. And a lot of times they can't understand why everybody else cannot do all the things that they can do. Some people can only do one thing at a time, but the ruler or administrative, they can have 4 or 5 things going on at one time and still manage to perform all of them well, because, as you can see, they plan ahead. They are strict planners. They get out, they probably have their vision board for the year already done. They have everything that they're going to do for the year mostly done. They have everything that they want to do for the year done or written down. They are true planners. Now, administrators, I'm thinking about different gifts, and I'm thinking about an administrator gift that I saw that was a child, and they wanted to do a what is it called? Lemonade stand. And in that lemonade stand, they had already planned how much they planned to make at that lemonade stand, how it was going to be set up, who they felt like. I mean, the child was only 10 years old, but they had all that done, written, not just speaking it, but they had a written plan. And that's what happens a lot with the motivational gifts as far as the children are concerned. You can see that in them. Now, the perceiver. The perceiver recognizes and identifies injustice. They're quick to identify moral and wrong action. They are self-introverts. They're creative. They're problem solvers and have very few friends, and then that are not either the same gift or close to them. Remember, I told you the non-people are the administrator, the perceiver, and the teacher. And usually the friends that an administrator, a teacher, or a perceiver have are like them, are close to them. The reason why I can say that is because that's my motivational gift. I am a perceiver. That's why I say my husband could not understand, because I saw everything in black and white. You know, there were no gray areas. There are no gray areas. Well, I've learned. I remember I told you I had that learned behavior. I've learned some gray areas, but there usually would be no gray areas in my life. Everything was black and white. Everything was right or wrong. And I was one that wanted justice all the time. And as I look back as a child, I can remember, if you were wrong, I let you know you were wrong. And if it got to me telling somebody you were wrong, I told them you were wrong. And I did not know. I thought everybody did that. But now I know that it was in me. That was an innate gift that God had placed in me, that I saw things in black and white, and I saw things not in shades of gray, and I wanted to correct wrongs. So perceivers are very, I hate to say it, but perceivers are very judgmental. I try not to be, because I'm learning all the other behaviors, and I'm trying to take a little bit from everybody and be a very well-rounded person, hopefully. And the next one is the teacher. My best friend is a teacher. Teacher motive gift. They're inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions, which I don't mind, which I love. They're very logical thinkers, which I thoroughly enjoy. They're very wordy sometimes, because they have all these words that they know, because they read all the time, because they enjoy doing things. They love to learn, study, and read. They are effective communicators. My brother is a teacher motive gift. My brother is the only one person that I know, but I did find out there were some other people. But my brother read the encyclopedia for fun. I mean, who does that? Come on now. But because, and then he did not want to say anything unless it was something that was shared with, that he could teach you about. My friend, who is a teacher, always loves books. She may be on right now, and she knows who I'm talking about. But she loves books. And I remember we were doing a presentation, and we took a break, and we took a lunch break, and we went down to this area that was a little small cafeteria, but there was books in the back of it. And I was telling someone that was with me, I said, watch her. I said, she's not going to go to the food. She's going to see those books, and she's going to head straight to the back. And needless to say, that's exactly what she did. That's what happens with teachers. When you start knowing the people that you're around, that's the reason why you should know who the person you're around is and what their motivational gift is. I'll give you another incident that happened. After we had taught the motivational classes, one of the students came back to us and told us she is a manager of a pharmaceutical company. And she said that she started looking at people differently. She started looking at them through their motivational gifts, so that she could actually operate and respect who they were and not expect everybody to be like them or like her. So you want to make sure that as you're looking at yourself, as you're looking at your children, as you're looking at others, respect them for who they are and what their motivational gift is. Now, how do you encourage your children to develop their unique gifts or their motivational gifts? These are some of the keys to encouraging your children, and you can use these for yourself. These gifts are also road signs to where God may be directing them to develop their purpose. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to those road signs. I'll give you another example about my daughter, how we found out that her motivational gift. As I said, before she went to kindergarten and she was in preschool, she was learning everybody's parts when they did their plays. She learned their parts, and when they did their graduation or their plays, she would say her little part, and then she would have to go to the back. But if the person that was supposed to say their part did not say their part fast enough, my daughter would say it for them. So she would always work her way back to the front. And we started watching that and watching how she could learn things really fast. I remember I would read her book all the time. And Ruth Luce Tooth was the name of the book. I loved it. And she memorized that book. And at 2 people thought she could read when she was actually memorizing it. So those are some signs that you can look at when you're talking to people. Make a list of the things and activities that interest them, and make a list of things and activities that they excel at, so that and make a list of the things and activities that you excel at. Ask yourself a question and ask them the same question. If I could be anything that in the world that I could be, what would it be? I was just looking at a video and of these two young people, because a lot of times you don't know, you may know your motivational gift, but you still are questioning what your purpose is. And your motivational gift can direct you to your purpose. These two young boys who, one just graduated from Texas Christian University, and he graduated and he's 14 years old. And now his brother is in school at Texas Christian University, and he's 11. His mother discovered their gifts at a very early age. She said at 2, she was discovering that these young people excel at certain things. So pay attention to people and what they excel at, so that you can know, and what you excelled at, so that you can know what it is that's motivating you to do what you want to do. Let me give you another thing about my daughter. That's all I can talk about, is because I've known her all her life. She thought that she is a compassion motivational gift. She thought she wanted to be a veterinarian because she loved animals and she was very compassionate about it. But when we looked at her, even though she was compassionate and loved animals, she was not one of those gifts like a teacher or an educated. She did not like science. So we knew that as much as she loved animals, she did not like science. So that gifting was not part of who she was supposed to be. So these two young people, back to them, both of them are scientists, or grown. One is 14, one is 11, but chemistry and science are their gifts. And they already know. God has already showed them who they are and planted that seed inside of them. If you know who you are and what your motivational gift is, this can also be a clue to your God-given purpose. God has given us all a purpose in life. We are not willy-nilly on this earth. God has a purpose for each and every one of us. Just like Jeremiah 29:11 said, He's already made a plan for our life. So all we have to do, all we have to do is seek Him and find out what it is His plan is for us. These gifts are like seeds, not only in us, but are in our children. Our job is to nurture them, to water them, and to help that seed grow. I was listening to Miles Monroe talk about an apple seed. And he said, when you see an apple seed, you're looking at a seed. But what is really in that seed is an orchard. You may only see that seed, but once you put it in the ground, once you nurture it, once you water it, then that seed becomes a tree. That tree becomes an orchard. So you don't know what kind of greatness is in you or in your child. So nurture your child or your children or the people in your life as you nurture yourself. Water it, help it grow. How can you do that? One of the ways is by attending these seminars that Kim is offering. These are growth seminars. They're going to help you determine your purpose in life. Other ways that you can help develop the unique gifts in your children or in yourself is when they express an interest in a certain activity. If at all possible for you to be a part of that or make it happen, provide them with that activity so that they can explore it. My daughter wanted to play the piano. I provided that activity for her. Then she realized that She didn't want to play the piano, but at least I was able to provide that opportunity for her. My daughter said she wanted to do some things that she's done already. She's an adventurous sort of person. And we have tried as best as we could to provide those things for her. So provide those things for yourself and your children. If there's any things in your life that you have wanted to do it. You never know where it may lead you to. When they show an aptitude or gift in a certain area, help them to develop it. Like I said, my daughter could memorize stuff. She knew stuff. I put her in mosaic and it is an acting school. She loved it. So now she is at Oakland University and she is a performing arts major. We knew since she was about 10 years old, that's the direction she wanted to go in, because we asked the questions. We did the things that we needed to do to try and help her. And there are things that I've wanted to do with my life, and I'm sure there's some things that you wanted to do with your life. Time and things and life got in the way, but don't be afraid to step out and do the things that you know that you would love to do. When they invite you to an activity that they love to do it with them. Help them out. Make time for that. Make it a priority. Even older or younger. Help them. My daughter and I go places. We do things that she wants to do. She loves to do things, and as much as I can. I won't go on a roller coaster with her, which she loves to do, but I'll go to the park with her. And lastly, this is the most important part of it. So I want you to consider this. Since God has called you and God has called them, He is completely able to reveal your purpose to you, and He's able to reveal their purpose to you because He has placed them in your hands. So diligently seek Him and find out what it is that He would have you to do, walking out your motivational gift, walking out your purpose in life, and do the things that you need to do to help your children or the people, young or older, in your life to walk out their purpose in their lives. And with that, if there's any questions, Kim, am I on time, over time? I can continue to talk about it if you would like, but you tell me.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you because that was a great session. And of course, it is on time, which has amazed me how it ended perfectly where it should. The cool thing is, everybody, though, is that we do have time for Q&A. And I have some questions, too, that I would like to ask mine as well.
Let me take a sip of water.
Okay, feel free. Go ahead and get your water. So while she's doing that, for those of you that are watching, what questions do you have for her? Go ahead and type your question in the Q&A section, not the chat, but the Q&A section, so that we're able to go ahead and ask those questions, because this topic right here is critical. And I tell you, how many of you would say that you wish you would have known your purpose early on in life? How many of you would say that? Type down, I wish I would have known. Type that in, me. How many of you wish you would have discovered it early on in your life? Because a lot of times when we don't know what our motive gift is early on, when we don't know what areas that we're really strong at and good at and what careers we should pursue, what road we should go down, then we spend time trying out other things like Jack Jones mentioned here, which still is important part of our journey that we learned from Denise Wanamaker yesterday. But wouldn't it be better, though, to be able to know that these are the areas that I am good at, this is my motive gift, these are my strengths, and you have family members and friends that support you early? That would be great. We have people saying me. Yep, they're saying me. I understand. I wish I would have done that as well. And we do have some more questions. So I do have a couple of questions I'm going to ask, and then feel free, everybody to include your questions as well. But first of all, I want to thank you, Jack Jones, for doing a wonderful job. I tell you, this topic is really important to me, and that's something I meant to mention earlier. This topic is critical, and we don't hear this a lot. You don't get this teaching a lot. You may not have the resources of knowing where can I go to learn more about my motive gift. And some of you probably even had that question mark early on in this presentation, saying, what is a motive gift? What's that about? I mean, why should I want to know a motive gift, and what does that mean? And why is that important? And I'm so glad that, Jack, you had the opportunity to explain how it does relate to purpose. And so one of the questions that I would like to ask you is, what are some of the common mistakes you see parents make or people make as relates to identifying their child's or their family members' motive gift? What are some of the mistakes you've seen that we need to know about it up front so we don't make it anymore? After this training, we want to make sure that we are lined up properly in supporting. So what would be some of the mistakes you've noticed and the mistakes you've seen in parents?
One of the things is expecting your child to be like you, especially if you are, let's say you are a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief, and now your child is growing up, and they are, let's say you're a doctor, and because you sat at the table and you've talked about your business, you've talked about your purpose that you're feeling in your life, and you expect your child to follow in your footsteps. And so, but that child may not want to be a doctor. A lot of times you've heard of young people following in their parents' footsteps and going into the same career directions that their parents have gone into, only to realize that was not what they wanted to do, because they did not know what their purpose was. They did not know what their motivational gift was. And a lot of times they may be good at what they're doing. They may be a good doctor. They may be a good accountant, a good lawyer. They may be a good teacher. But what has happened is that it was learned behavior, because they've sat at their parents' foot for so long, they've learned how to do those things. But deep within them, it was not them.
And I'm silent because I know that happens to all of us. We've all experienced it, witnessed it. And our goal today is that you're not the person doing that. And some of us, that may be something that we need to walk away, a takeaway for us, and realize that after today, really evaluate our niece and our nephews and our godson and our goddaughters and our children and our sisters and our brothers from the aspect of their motive gift. And thank you. And ourselves in the aspect of our motive gift.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because what happens is that when you look back over your life and think about what are your strengths, what are you really, and what you do is you think about those things that people have told you that you're good at. Think about those things that people want to call on you to determine. Think about all of those things, and you just say, oh, well, you think everybody's good at it, but it's not. It is you. And so look at those things, and I can think of some people that I know are excellent at some things that they do as a sideline, or they like to do it, or they love to do it, when in actuality, I think that if they stepped out and did it full-fledged, it would be their motive. That would be the purpose that God has called them for. And let me say this too. A lot of times people want to know what their purpose is in life when it comes down to a career. Am I supposed to be a doctor? Am I supposed to be a lawyer? Am I supposed to be a teacher? Am I an anthropologist or whatever? But God has called you for a specific purpose. And I'm thinking about this lady that they're about to make a movie about her, who this young man was going to kill, went to the school, was going to kill all of these children, and she talked him out of it. It would have been devastating if he had done it, but she talked him out of it. And what she said was, this was my purpose in life. Think of all the people she saved. And we're not just talking about the people in that school that she saved, but the next generation of people that might not have existed had she not saved the people in the school. So you may be operating in your purpose and not know it. So think about what you're doing and how you're operating, and you may be in your purpose already.
All right, well, we got questions popping up in here. Here's one question for you. It says, does intelligence have anything to do with your gifts? Or is intelligence an attribute of a specific gift? She's talking about intelligence. What are your thoughts regarding that, Jack?
It depends on what do you call intelligent. Are you talking about, because we have some very intelligent people in the world, but they're not. And I'll give you I thought about a lot of artistic people. They're very intelligent people, but do they know how to operate in their gifts? Because there's a block that's going on with them. Now, sometimes intelligence does have a place, but what is intelligence? Because if you're thinking about a teacher or an administrator or something like that, and you're thinking, well, maybe a server is not as intelligent, a server can be just as intelligent but that's their motivational gift. They love to serve. So they may be an executive. They may be a president of a corporation. I'll give you a very good example. The gentleman from Chick-fil-A. Now, he started a restaurant. He loved to serve. So would you say he was less intelligent because he was in the service business than, let's say, Bill Gates? I don't think so. So intelligence is what you feel like intelligent. I think everybody is intelligent at some level. You have to find out what level of intelligence you're talking about.
Thank you. And I have another question. First of all, I have a statement. Someone said, forget the technical issues. This was an excellent presentation. And I totally agree. And so I just want you to know that up front. And that's one of the reasons why we pressed through this thing, because I wanted to make sure that this presentation happened. I know how important it is that each and every one of us understand our motive gift and understand our child or our family member's motive gift. I've been through the training with Jack. We've taught these programs all over. So I know how important this is. So thank you all for your patience. And by the way, everything's perfect. Technology is totally clear. So that's not even an issue anymore. I have one question for you. Can you share with us again the motive gifts? Can you go back to the slide that shows the 7 or how many motive gifts? It's always kind of good to do a little recap, overview, high-level overview, so people can walk away understanding what are those areas again, because again, they may have to walk away and understand or get more information about each and every one of these. So if you could share with us that would be great. I think a nice little overview before we head out, and we do have a couple more questions that came through as well too.
Okay, these are the 7 motivational gifts. And now let me just say that there are 3 gifts that 3 different types of gifts that are given in the Bible. There's the motivational gift, there's the ministry gifts, and then there's the spiritual gifts. So just to give you, and I always think about the quote or the scripture that says, your gift will make room for you. Not your intelligence, not your smarts, not your ability, but the gift that God placed you in will make room for you. So these are the 7 different motivational gifts. 1, perceiver, the server, or as the compassionate motivational gift, the teacher, the administrator, or I know them by heart, the administrator, the giver, the encourager, or they also call that the exhorter, and the compassionate. Perceiver, server, teacher, encourager, giver, administrator, and compassion. Now, what did you want me to go over what they did?
Oh, no, I just want to make sure we're able to cover that again. If you feel like to share a little bit more, you can. But I thought it would be good just to circle back to what are those 7 motivational gifts again. Because a lot of people may have to walk away today and learn more or try to identify their parent, their child's gift.
Let me just say this as far as the gifting is concerned. You can actually go online and take a test. I'm not sure what's the I guess you can Google it and just
that's
put in
not a
motivational
problem.
gift test.
And that's not a problem because that's one of the resources that we do provide with our nonprofit. So we will cover, for those of you that may want to understand a little bit more, we'll have the information for you as well. So thank you for mentioning that, Jack.
And let me just say this too, Kim, as far as the testing is concerned, what I've told people before, when you take the test, it's kind of skewed because you wanted to say what you wanted to say. So make sure that somebody very close to you takes the test. Your mom, your dad, your spouse, your child, your best friend, somebody who is going to answer the questions, and they're going to answer them more truthfully than you would, because I did not want to be a perceiver. And so I tried to skew the test. But then I had my husband to take it, and then I had my friend to take it. And so I had to consider that I am what it says I am. I am what God says I am.
Amen. And He created you that way, and I'm glad that He created you that way. So, and I like that tip, though. So that is a tip for us to think about, too. So when you're ready to take the motivational gift assessment, you take it, but have your best friend also take it for you. Have your husband or your spouse take it for you. I really do like that tip. I think that's a great way to make sure that you're able to see and understand how, from other people's perspective, as to what your gift is as well. And also, before we go, we did have another comment come in, Jack, stating that this person was really excited that you explained the difference between, that intelligence piece and the gift, because she said that her child was overlooked because of her GPA. So again, it's important that we don't look at just that type of thing. We look at their gifting. We look at their motive gifts. So great job.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So before we go, I would like to end it with you. I'm sorry. Before we go, I'd like to give you the last word. So what would you say for those of us that we've been through this training? We know that this is important. What tip or what recommendation you would give us? Our very first thing we should do after watching this video, watching this seminar. What would you recommend for us to do, Jack, going forward for this new year?
Find out, if you don't know what your motivational gift is, find out what your gifting is first. And then you can go to the other people in your household. But you need to know who you are first. And you need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about who you are. And I think if you seek out more information about motivational gifts, it does give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about who you are. And so that you can not only know who you are, but you can, the things that you would like to change about you, learn how to change them. And that's one of the things that I say about being in a motivational gift, knowing who I am. If there's some things I'm constantly trying to improve on who I am and have a little bit of all of those giftings in me. I know I'm a perceiver, but I sure love the compassionate motivational gift. I wished I could be an administrator, but I love all of the different gifts that God has placed on this earth. And so know who you are first. That would be my recommendation.
Amen. And I want you to know too, there are resources out there that gives you more information about it. Here's one tool that we do use that I'm going to share with you right now that we'll be sharing with people, making you aware of it as well. A mentor of mine actually written this book on it, on how to discover your purpose at work and finding and fulfilling your purpose at work. And so who knows, that's just one resource. Everybody say one. There's multiple resources on this topic. So there's more to come with that. And so before we go, I just want to again thank everybody for being here today. Thank you for watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, I'm excited that you're able to be here today. Later on this evening at 7:00 p.m., we will have a session on how to start a business while working a regular 9-to-5 job. I'll be conducting that session this evening. So if that's a topic that's kind of interesting to you, you've been thinking about starting a business, but you have a full-time job, how do you make it happen? What do you need to do? I'm going to be sharing with you some of my lessons learned, some tips and strategies that's helped me to be able to have 3 businesses, as well as when I was working full-time. Now I'm able to steward the businesses and have the businesses full-time, which is a wonderful blessing. I'm excited to be able to do so. And I'm going to share some tips with you so you know how to be able to start your business, no matter where you are, even if you have a job right now. So I want to, again, thank you, Jack, for this awesome session tonight. I cannot wait to watch it again. And for those of you who have watched it, make sure that you do click the button and watch the replay, and then reach out to us, and we're going to share with you some tools that can help you with discovering your motive gift as well, and help you to live your life on purpose. So everybody have a wonderful evening. And bye-bye, Jack. Thanks again for an awesome session.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share.
You're welcome. All right, bye-bye, everybody. See you later on tonight. And remember, as I get into this, and remember, today's a great day to start living your life on purpose. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.